Hey guys, thanks again for joining us for our second video of IBC Kids at Home. If you haven't seen the first video over Daniel chapter 1, check out the link in the description. Today we're going to be learning about Daniel chapter 3, as well as watching some music videos, doing a round of real or fake, and reviewing our memory verse.
Hey guys, Rebecca here again. We're going to review our life verse for this series. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. Psalm 56:3. So in case you had forgotten it, we're going to break it down again. Here we go. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. All right, guys, let's put it all together now. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. Psalm 56:3. All right, now that you know it and you've practiced it, we'd love for you to go around to everybody in your home and tell them the life verse that you've learned for this series, and maybe challenge your parents to memorize it too.
Get up, jump up, turn up and dance. I'm gonna praise you, Jesus, with all that I am. Get up, jump up, turn up and dance. I'm gonna praise you, Jesus, with all that I am. Come on,
Get up, let's get it started. Time to move around, let's have a party. Move to the left, move to the right, feel the beat and hang on tight. Move to the left, move to the right, feel the beat and hang on tight. Now stop and clap it out. Now stop and stomp it out. Now stop and bounce it out. Now stop and shout it out.
get up, jump up, turn up and dance. I'm gonna praise you, Jesus, with all that I am. Get up, jump up, turn up and dance. I'm gonna praise you, Jesus, with all that I am. Come on,
Get up, let's get it started. Time to move around, let's have a party. Move to the left, move to the right, feel the beat and hang on tight. Move to the left, move to the right, feel the beat and hang on tight. Now stop and clap it out. Now stop and stomp it out. Now stop and bounce it out. Now stop and shout it out. Yeah.
get up, jump up, turn up and dance. Gonna praise you, Jesus, with all that I am. Get up, jump up, turn up and dance. Gonna praise you, Jesus, with all that I am. Get up, jump up, turn up and dance. Gonna praise you, Jesus, with all that I am. Get up, jump up, turn up and dance. Gonna praise you, Jesus, with all that I am.
God made everything that I see. By His word this world came to be. When I doubt, I know He's with me. Well, I know God made everything that I see. By His word this world came to be. When I doubt, I know He's with me. Well, I know my faith is in you. I know that you are true. I believe when I can't see. You are real. No matter what I feel, there's proof, no mystery. My faith is in you. God made everything that I see. By His word this world came to be. When I doubt, I know He's with me. Well, I know God made everything that I see. By His word this world came to be. When I doubt, I know He's with me. I know my faith is in you. I know that you are true. I believe when I can't see. You are real. No matter what I true. I believe when I can't see. You are real. No matter what I feel, there's proof, no mystery. God made everything that I see. By His word this world came to be. When I doubt, I know He's with me. Well, I know my faith is in you.
Hey guys, Rebecca here. We're going to play a round of real or fake, Wacky Laws edition. So, if you think the law is real, stand up, and if you think the law is fake, sit down. Here we go. In Connecticut, you can only sell a pickle to someone if it bounces. Is that real or fake? That is real, believe it or not. All right, in Georgia, you are only allowed to eat fried chicken with your hands. Real or fake? That is real. In Illinois, it is illegal to ride a tricycle unless it has a basket on it. Real or fake? That one is fake. In Kansas, no one is allowed to throw snowballs. Real or fake? That one is real. In Mississippi, it is illegal to have a drink that holds more than 46 ounces. Real or fake? That one is fake. In Montana, it is illegal to play frisbee golf anywhere except for an actual frisbee golf course. Real or fake? That one is real. And in Nevada, it is illegal to use an X-ray to find out someone's shoe size. Real or fake? That one is real. It was a little bit hard to tell if these laws could be real or fake. Throughout history, people have always tried to make their own idols to worship. But we know that there is only one true God. And in today's lesson, we're going to learn about the power of God.
Have you ever done something so incredible that you just felt invincible? Maybe it's like hitting the game-winning shot at the buzzer, or maybe you got an A+ on your spelling test, right? Either way, you felt like you couldn't do anything wrong. You just felt like the coolest person in the world. And it's all right to feel good about yourself and to take pride in your accomplishments, but we have to be very careful because we need to know that no matter what we do, God is the one that gives us all good things and gives us the strength to do anything. So in our Bible story from today, in Daniel chapter 3, if you remember, last week we talked about Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel and his friends. Well, we're going to talk about him again today. And at this point in our story, Nebuchadnezzar was feeling really good about himself. His empire had captured all these kind of armies, taken over cities, and they were becoming one of the strongest empires in the entire history of the world. And so he was like, yeah, I'm cool. And so what he did was he said, let's make a big statue. Let's make a really big statue, and he wanted the statue to be 90 feet tall. That's like 15 of me standing on top of each other. 90 feet tall. And guess what the statue looked like? Him. So he built this big statue to look just like him. And he said, not even that, I'm going to put it where everybody can see it. And also, anytime that you hear music played, everyone has to bow down to my statue and worship it because I'm like God. That's how good he felt about himself. He thought that everything he had done in his life, all the empires that he'd conquered, all the great things he'd done was because of him. And he thought people should worship him because of it. Well, if you remember, Daniel had 3 friends. And at this time in the story, Daniel was away in a different land on the king's business. He was a really close advisor to the king. But the king had also put his 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in charge of the city in Babylon. And so they were there. And so one day the time came and the music played and everybody bowed down to the statue of Nebuchadnezzar, except for 3 people. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They knew that they didn't want to bow down and worship somebody that wasn't the one true God, because they knew there was only one God who is worthy of our worship, the real God. And so they didn't do it. They didn't bow down. And it was pretty easy to tell when somebody wasn't bowing down if everyone else was. And so it didn't take long for somebody to tell on them. So some of King Nebuchadnezzar's advisors came to him and they said, "Hey, dude, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego aren't bowing down." And Nebuchadnezzar heard this and he was angry. He was mad. And so what he did was he called and he wanted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to come and see him. And so they did. And he said, "Hey guys, listen, I know we're pals, but tell me, is it true that you guys aren't bowing down to my statue? My statue?" Said, "I heard you weren't doing it." And obviously they weren't. They weren't bowing down to it. And so Nebuchadnezzar, his rule that he had said, he said, if somebody didn't bow down to my statue, I would throw them in a hot, fiery furnace. But Nebuchadnezzar was like, "I'll give these guys another chance." He said, "Okay, guys, I'll give you one more chance, and if you will bow down to my statue from here on out, we'll be good. I'll just forget this ever happened. But if you don't bow down, I'm going to throw you in that fiery furnace, and you're going to burn up." And so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said to the king, "Our God is strong enough to deliver us from that furnace, to save us from that furnace." And Nebuchadnezzar didn't think so. He asked him, he said, "Who's the God that could save you from me?" Because he thought he was the top dog. He thought he was in charge of everything. And they said, "No, our God is strong enough." But they said, "Even if he doesn't save us from that furnace, we will still never bow down to you or to your statues because we trust in God. And we trust in his plan." They knew that even if God's plan wasn't to save them from the fiery furnace, that he was still a good God and the one true God. And so Nebuchadnezzar got even angrier. If Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego thought he was angry then, they hadn't even seen anything yet. He got so angry, he ordered for the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than it had ever been heated. 7 times. And so he said he had his soldiers, he had them tie them up with ropes, tie their hands behind their backs with ropes, and he had them carry them down to that furnace and throw them in there. And it says the fire was so hot when the soldiers opened the door, it was so hot they weren't even in the furnace and it burned them up. And so he threw them into the furnace. Nebuchadnezzar thought it was it. He thought he had solved his problem. But then he thought for a second, and he was looking in the furnace, and he said to his advisors, "How many guys did we throw in there? Was it 3? And they were like, yeah, 3. And he was confused because when he looked in there, he saw 4 people. And he said one of them looked like he was the Son of God. And they were just walking around in the furnace. They weren't hurt. They were just walking around in there. So Nebuchadnezzar, he ran down there and he yelled through the door. He said, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come out of here." And the crazy thing is they did. They walked right out and they were completely fine. And have you ever been to a bonfire? You know what I'm talking about? You make some s'mores, hang out, and all that smoke blows all over the place. And then when you get home, what do your clothes smell like? It smells like smoke, right? Yeah, it smells really bad of smoke. And so that's just being near a fire. But they were in the furnace, and the Bible tells us that their clothes didn't even smell like smoke. Their hair wasn't burnt. They were fine. The only thing that had burnt up were the ropes that had tied them up. Otherwise, they were fine. And Nebuchadnezzar was amazed because God had saved them from the heat of the fiery furnace. And so Nebuchadnezzar made this new law. And he said, if anyone ever says anything bad about the God that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego worship, they will be punished. And so through that, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego showed us that they can trust in God even in scary times. That they can have faith in God even in scary times. And even if things don't work out the way that we want them to, we know that God is still the one with the good plan and that He's the one true God that has power. Just like in our last story, the 3 friends were faced with a really tough choice. They had to choose to follow God and do what was right, or be punished and thrown into a fiery furnace. But they still, once again, made the right choice. They followed God when it was hard. They did the right thing when it was easy to do the wrong thing. Because they knew that even if Nebuchadnezzar threw them in that fiery furnace and they weren't delivered from it, they weren't rescued from it, there was still nothing on earth that's better than a relationship with God and following God. And they knew no matter what happened, they would never bow down to any other idol or any fake god, but they would always worship the one true God. And that's the same lesson we can learn today from that story. We can know that even when we're scared, even when things are tough, even when we're worried about what might happen next, we can trust in God and in His goodness and in His plan instead of trying to take control of things ourselves. Nebuchadnezzar was so confident in his power and his strength that he thought he could do anything he wanted and nobody could stop him. But we know that God is the one with real power, and we don't want to make the same mistake Nebuchadnezzar made and try to rely on our own power and our own strength and our own choices to do what we want to do. But we can trust in God's plan and know that no matter what happens, He's in control and we can rely on Him. Just like our life point says, even in times of fear, we can trust in God and should make the right choice. And so, once again, remember the words of our life verse, Psalm 56:3, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you." That's what Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did, and that's what we can do every single day. Thanks, guys.